Hello, how are you? It's Stella Oni, author of Deadly Sacrifice. And how are you today? And I hope your week has gone well. Mine has been busy. My cozy mystery, the draft, has gone to my beta reader. So I'm waiting to hear back about it. I'm in trepidation because, of course, that means more work to be done. But feedback is very important. Also, I'm kind of like still mulling around with the second in the series for the Tuxade mystery series, the one after Deadly Sacrifice. So I'm still kind of like, mulling around. I wrote a first draft of one, but I'm thinking about leaving that one and actually writing another draft because um, I've got another idea. So I'm kind of, this is a London series, and I've got one that I want to discuss this week. So I've got J.K. Rowling's, well, Robert Galbraith. This is J.K. Rowling. She decided to go into crime fiction writing. For those who don't know, she did it under a pen name. She didn't want to use J.K. Rowling, as you well know. And that's too related to the Harry Potter series. And she was going to do it kind of anonymously. And people found out, the press found out that it was her that wrote the book. And of course, that changed the whole thing. So I didn't read her work for a long time. I didn't touch it. Didn't have time, but I was intrigued. So I said that I would read it, and to be candid, I was just sucked in. She is a good storyteller, whatever anybody thinks. She's just incredible. So the Cuckoo's Calling is actually set in London, and so that's why I said it's part of the London series. So I didn't expect to be doing London series this week because I thought I would not be able to catch up with the reading. I've got about 5 books in the series that I want to cover. So J.K. Rowling is one of the 5. I'm probably not going to do a London series next week. It's going to be another crime book set somewhere else. But I just couldn't resist. I wanted to talk about this because after all, it's not about how well known the author is, about how good writing, good crime writing, and where it's set. And mine, crime fiction around the world, is all about settings, location, fantastic writing, good characterization, good plotting. From my view, of course, and views are subjective, but it's what I enjoyed. So in talking about this was set firmly in London. Lots of good London locations here. You could almost see London the way J.K. Rowling has depicted it. Her main character, her lead character, is Cormoran Strike. Even the name itself, I think she actually says where the name came from, how she came about the name, but it's quite a distinctive name, Cormoran Strike. Big guy and with one leg. So he's got a false leg. He was in the army and lost a leg in the army in the war. I think it was Afghanistan. And he became a private detective. He's got a very complex background. He's got a famous dad. But that's just when I say famous, there's a whole load of stuff around that I'm not going to talk about if you haven't read it. But so what's this first one about, Cuckoo's Calling? It's about the death of a mixed race model, very successful model, who fell to her death from her balcony in a I think it was West London home. And so her brother came to Cormoran Strike, who was already down on his luck in terms of opening a private detective agency and not getting a lot of clients and owing money. But this client came and said that he was convinced that because it was ruled as suicide, but the brother was convinced that she didn't commit suicide, but that she was killed. She was murdered, and he wanted Cormoran Strike to investigate this. So Cormoran went ahead. He got a new assistant, a temp assistant called Robin. Robin was supposed to be there temporarily, and Cormoran, kept her on, like she came in as a temp and they got on kind of like an odd couple kind of relationship. This story it's better than I'm saying it, let's put it that way. Anyway, so yeah, so it started an investigation into the death of the model, started looking at the lives of the people around her, her family, everything. But what I really struck me was J.K. Rowling's depiction of characters. She was just, I loved her characters. And in this book, she did not pull back on, it was quite multiracial in terms of the characters, in terms of the people that she depicted, because like I said, the model was mixed race. And not just the characters, but the dialogue. Her depiction, the way she wrote dialogue was so, you could see the character in the way she actually wrote her dialogue. And because it was diverse, multiracial characters, she convinced me. And so I said this week, and I think in the future, I'm going to read from some of the work. So if I talk about characterization or a dialogue, I will read something. Now, don't you laugh at me, because of course I'm trying to do, it's not going to be a London accent because I've got an accent already, but I'm going to try and do a character. So this was the security guard. I think his name is Wilson. So this was Cormoran trying to talking to Wilson and just trying to get some information from him, because he was there when he was the security guard of the home, the concierge of the luxury block of flats where Lula, that's the name of the model, fell to her death. So this was the security guard just talking. I just wanted to try and see whether you can get a nuance of what I'm talking about. And if you don't get it, at least I've entertained you. So, so this was Strike asking, how did you get on with Lula Landry? Strike asked, pen poised, did you see a lot of her? Just in and out past the desk, she's always said hello and please and thank you, which is more than a whole lot of this rich fuckers manage, said Wilson laconically. Longest chat we ever had was about Jamaica. She was thinking of doing a job over there, asking me where to stay, what it's like, and I got her autograph for my nephew, Jason, for his birthday. Got her to sign a card, send it out to Afghanistan, just 3 weeks before she died. She asked after Jason by name every time I saw her after that, and I like that girl for that. I've been knocking around the security game for a long time. There's people who'd expect you to take a bullet for them and they don't bother remembering you. Yeah, she was all right. I did try, didn't I? So that was one of the characters talking. So if you read it, you'd kind of like understand what I mean. She nailed the dialogue. For me, she did that. And she was not afraid to, which was, I've read a few reviews, but for me, coming from my background and for who I am, I was kind of like intrigued by the fact that she covered diverse characters and she was not afraid to actually touch on race and touch on, what does that put down? So she was not afraid to talk about race and identity in here. And I applaud her for that. Now, I've got a whole other Robert Galbraith, because of course when I like a book, I tend to go back and I try and acquire all the books by the same author. So I've got a whole load of other Cormoran Strike series. I think she's still on the series anyway. And I know that there's a TV series called Strike. I haven't watched it, and I've been told by a friend that was actually done very, very well. But I'm not going to watch the TV series till I've read all the books. I just don't want my own sense of what Strike looks like, or who he is, to be diluted by watching it just yet. So that's me, The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. Well done, um, J.K. Rowling, for doing this and for putting your talents out there and not being, what's the word for it, phased by the huge success of your Harry Potter books, because some other people would have given up. It's so difficult to have massive success somewhere else and then reinvent yourself, but she's actually done that. So applause for you. Thanks for listening to me, and we'll catch up again. I probably am not going to cover London next week. I'm still reading the book. It's This Lovely City by Louise Hay, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. But I don't think I'd have finished it by next week. So I'll be doing a different book. So I hope you're having fun with me on this, because I am. Take care and talk to you later. Bye bye.